I really enjoyed your song in the project.
Oh, really? The Off the Edge song, right?
And I watched the first three episodes of the documentary earlier today too.
Okay, how was it?
I really appreciated it.
It was really something. I remember doing the interview and like the whole journey with depression was like a vivid dream. Like, when you think of something that happened 5 years ago, you like vaguely remembered. So when I got onto that chair and talked about depression, I really dived into the matter again. And I felt like actually 1 week after the interview, I was like a bit anxious because, just digging up the past, but again, got like a fresh perspective on the matter.
Hi there, Zach.
Hello.
How are
Hey,
you?
I'm good.
I
Nice
was
to meet you,
just
Laura.
telling him that I really liked the documentary you guys did and the song.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, it came together really nicely. It was definitely, I think, the most work I've put into any song or project ever. But it was more than worthwhile, and I think just seeing people's reaction to it has been amazing, and even just seeing how the videos came out, and how they're edited, and the part that Igor and the editors chose from what I said is yeah, it's all been beautiful, and I can be more happy to put a message like that into the world, and I'm glad it seems like it's helping. So
Me too.
likewise.
Well, let's start with the song. It really resonated with me since I think a lot of people struggle with depression and the idea of suicide. Did you write the lyrics, Igor, or did you guys work on that together?
me, did we have a writing session, Igor? I can't remember.
Yeah, we like talked about the matter that the song had this emotion of something darker,
Right.
and then we went from there.
Right. I got a general idea from Igor, and then me and my buddy Blake Wisner, who we've worked on a lot of my music together, we came together and wrote the rest of the lyrics. Off the Edge, we had some mumbles in the verse, and then we had that melody, and Off the Edge just worked so well, and then it just came together really beautifully with
Mm.
what we were writing the song about. I don't remember the lyrics taking a super long time, which sometimes that is really the hardest part of a song. There are some kind of metaphorical stuff in the song too. It says exactly what I feel like we both want to say in a cool way, and in a way that I still feel like is digestible and is understood for what we're trying to talk about.
And they also sent me a private link of the music video, which comes out in a few weeks.
Oh, nice. Did you watch that yet?
I did. I
Okay,
also
cool.
really like
Nice.
that.
Nice. Yeah, that was fun. That was definitely. I've been working with the same director and cinematographer for a minute, and the same editor. So they've worked on a bunch of my videos before, and when I showed them the song, they really loved it. And yeah, I feel like especially towards the end, it's like a very wholesome video. It's like got really cool elements, but I feel like the end, it's like super wholesome and it was very feel good. Blake was in it. I had my mom in it, which was really cute and fun. So it was kind of cool, and we shot a lot of it at my house, which is nice. So
That's interesting to know.
yeah, so my mom's the one in the background with the surf, and at the end, that's not my real dad, but that's another disc golf friend. But yeah, it came together really nice.
And let's talk about the documentary. What messages are you hoping the audience will take from the Off the Edge documentary series?
You want to go first, Igor?
Yeah, for me, the most important thing is like to talk about the matter. I mean, I've met a lot of like I don't know, even colleagues or clients from I'm working in a marketing agency, and they've started to talk about like mental health. It's so weird. Like usually you don't open up about like some sensitive matters, but people like say, yeah, I'm going to therapy, I work too much, and that's what my goal was anyway, to just be open about things like depression or mental health or some difficulties you have. And that's like the first step to just saying that you have some struggles and then like moving towards healing.
I think the biggest thing is to normalize being open about talking about that, and making everyone, obviously, especially creatives, or on it. I mean, it's honestly anyone. I feel like we're all three of us are musicians, so maybe it resonates a little more in the musician category just because that's what it's based around, is song and music and stuff like that. Yeah, it needs to be something that normalized. I think people need to know that they're not alone. I think people need to know that there is more than enough help and people that care about them. I think more people telling their stories about what they go through on a public level, like this, is positive, because I just feel like even for males, it's not as, you have this like bro or like frat guy mentality. Sometimes it's like, or people who were raised by their father who had like zero
Mhm.
emotion. Not that that was me, but I mean, so at least for men, I think it's even, guys are always making fun of each other. So I think even for, like I said, just men in general, like just talking about your feelings, I think is really important. I think, from the military to, I think, a ton of things, it's like when whether it's PTSD or just any kind of trauma, I think men they're scared to talk about their feelings because someone's going to call them like some name or like a sissy. That's one. And then, I just think, um, just in general, like being able to communicate and talk to your friends, and being open and knowing that there's resources, and yeah, just, like I said, even for people who are in more of the limelight, like us musicians or celebrities or whatever, like when people, I mean, obviously it's kind of different, but everyone at every level and every level of success all over the world, we all deal with stuff. So it's like normalizing that, and putting resources in the world. And beyond music, for me, even this, like, Laura, I'm really grateful you brought me and Igor on, because I've been looking for more things like that just as a person. Like, I feel like I have so much more to offer the world than just music. And it's nice to be able to come on and tell my story and talk to people, and realize that, I'm just a normal dude who struggles with stuff just like everyone else. But I think the main thing is that people are heard. People know that they're not alone. People know that they have resources out there, and they're definitely not the only one struggling with this stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Mental health is very important to me. I have a background in psychology and social work, so mental health has always been a passion of mine.
I
And
love it.
I believe that we need to destigmatize mental health and getting help.
Definitely. I've always been interested in psychology and stuff like that, and why people do what they do, and how the mind works. And it's a powerful thing to know. If you know stuff, it's good to use it for the good. So that's awesome.
So, how did your feelings about depression change as you both did some self discovery for this documentary?
Like I said before, after the interview, I actually like felt like my depression journey was like 5 years ago. I had to like dig up the past in some way. I haven't really gotten like to talk about it, like to actually anyone, um, like in depth, like we did in the documentary. So it was weird in some way, like you dig up your like past in a different perspective, but still it somehow affects you. Like you in some way like question, like, are you still healthy, or in some way. So after the interview I felt a bit anxious for a week, but after like week 2 or week 3 I felt like much more stronger, since I got to vocalize like what I was like dealing with, and like people now know my story. And so I don't need to anymore like hide some like difficult part of my life. And that's actually like really relieving. And I felt much more free after that.
So, I guess before Zach gets back, I'll ask you something else. What motivated you to get help and keep going with your career?
So I remember like, during, well, like 6 years, I started seeing like on the internet people just talking about mental health awareness. Like I remember there was this guy who was saying like, the power of the mind, and you can be the absorber of your thoughts, and you are not your thoughts. And I was like listening to that, and I was like, what the hell is he talking about? I mean, like, sounded like pretty weird, but I knew that I was in a dark place, and I was just like, what the hell, I'll try it. and I just started like observing my thoughts, and I understood that I was like pretty negative against myself. Like, I mean, like 90% was just dark thoughts, and I just started healing from there. I understood that that's not the right path for me. Welcome back, Zach.
Hey guys, I'm back. I don't know what happened, but my internet just completely turned off. So I'm so sorry about that.
It's all right. We'll start again. How did your feelings on depression change as you did some self-discovery?
I've always been pretty aware of what's been going on with me and pretty resilient through most stuff. When I was 23, I went through this really high and then really low, and felt honestly paralyzed in a way, like my brain wasn't working. And those were some really dark thoughts that crept in if this was how I was gonna be forever. You know what I mean? Like if I couldn't get back to feeling normal, like I said in the docuseries, that's where I felt the most low. And those thoughts of like, I wouldn't want to live if I'm like this anymore came into my head. Just going through stuff when I was younger, that's kind of what inspired me to even write, besides just being in music. For me, it was slightly hard for me to find, like I said, some real times where I was depressed. And I really like that in the last episode, the edit was known what I wanted for a very, very long time. And any time that I've been truly sad, I just remember what I feel like my purpose is, which is to share this thing that I have found or has found me to the world, this music thing. And my goals with music in my life are so much bigger than just music. And it's honestly, like I said before, it's like doing stuff like this and getting to help and give back and getting to put a positive light into the world. I think there's been times lately where if I boiled it down simply, and there's a couple people I really like that have said this as well, but to know that when you leave this earth, that people suffered less because of you. And I think my own self-discovery and looking in with depression, I think I've personally been able to get out of it relatively quickly when I ever have felt like that. And obviously there's stuff that I struggle with all the time. I try to remember why I'm here, and that gets me out of it pretty quickly.
Is that what motivates you to get help and keep on going?
Ever really struggling with something, I definitely get help, at least in the way of talking to a friend or someone who I know will listen. So I've been fortunate to have enough good people around me that anytime I'm really, really struggling with something, I talk about it. And I think also just giving yourself time is okay too. I think there's nothing wrong with going through something. And I'm also extremely blessed, I feel like, for everything I've ever been through, even if it led me to some kind of sadness. I don't know if I always want to call it depression, but to me, I wouldn't have, I don't want to say I wouldn't have any good music. I wouldn't be the artist I am. And I wouldn't, have the music that I have if I didn't, go through things. More importantly, on that note, is I think people need to have some kind of outlet. That's what I kind of want to put out there more, whether it's a sport, whether it's music, whether it's just something that when you're feeling a certain way, that you can go do that makes you feel better, or something where you can get it out. I think everyone should write or journal or some kind of thing to get your feelings out. So, that's just another reason why I'm so fortunate to have music. Is I'm blessed for all the moments that I've had to go through. My biggest lesson in my life is patience. And I think that's also patience with, how you're feeling, and to just know that, like, this is temporary. I think that's what I'd want to tell people who are struggling too, is like, I know this seems like the end of the world sometimes, but it's really not. It's temporary. You're going to get through this. Just got to be patient with yourself. And I think you, Klaus or Igor said it in one of the episodes lately, is to kind of just like, when you're feeling that, there's nothing wrong with kind of like embracing it in a way. And, what are any feelings that make us feel happy without, feelings of the opposite. So, life and music is about balance. The waveform goes up and it goes down. And, to me, there's no life without balance. So, I have a perspective on that maybe not everyone has. Like I said, that's why I just think people who like me and Igor, who, have that perspective and and even you, Laura, it's like we all just need to keep putting, you know, our words and our things into the world so people can understand how to cope with what they're going through. So
How hard was it for you guys to share all these personal stories on the documentary?
I remember like a month before the documentary, I was like, am I going to do this? Because I haven't really talked about my feelings. Well, my ex-girlfriend, when I was with her, like I didn't even tell her like what exactly I was feeling. My family doesn't really know exactly what I was feeling. And now I'm going to just share it to the world. Like that was a bit scary. But deep down, I knew that this was like the right reason to do it. It's not just to talk about it and, you know, vent out to other people that you're like feeling sad, but just to talk in a like a positive light. I've struggled with some things, and I've like gotten through some things that might inspire like somebody struggling. The biggest goal for me was like I wanted to create this docu-series like for myself when I was like depressed. If I would have like seen those videos, those would have like made it much more easier for me. So for me, it's like after these docu-series or these episodes, I feel like I've done like that dream for the depressed me or who was depressed. So I have like some sort of peace with it.
Good for you.
yeah, I think going into it, I just know I had to get in a certain state to just like be ready to do that. But I just definitely have to set myself in the right frame to be able to really talk about that stuff and say what I felt like I needed to say. And but I think it was still, you know, as much you know, energy has been put into this whole project. I think I knew it was going to be more than worth it. And I think, you know, listening back to obviously it's not the whole interview that we can put all of our interviews in the whole docuseries, but I think the parts that were picked out, I think when I watched it, you know, one of the first episodes, I kind of like got emotional about it because it's almost like hearing yourself like be there for yourself. And I think it's really cool, and it's really a blessing to have that to go listen to. You know, I listen to it and I'm like, yeah, Zach, like I'm usually pretty open about sharing my story and talking about things. So it was definitely something I wanted to do. I just wanted to make sure that I was in the right place before I spoke and answered all those questions. So.
And how did you guys gain the official support of the American Association of Suicidology?
Yeah, we reached out. We had like a PR agency get in, and like together we formed this list of different organizations that are just dealing with you know, mental health. So we got Slater find a helpline, and now we're talking with Sounds of Saving as well. They want to like help our cause as well. So yeah, when we had the first meeting with the American Association of Suicidology, we like immediately had a click. Like he was like a part of the group as well. Like he just wanted to help as much as he could, and he did it.
And do you guys have any plans to create more singles or anything else for the project?
We haven't talked about it. I'm definitely potentially open to that in the future. I just think there's even more stuff that we're still working on and set to come out. So I don't know what the finish of this is yet. And I know me and Igor want to potentially keep this going and maybe do, you know, we had briefly talked about doing something honestly like this, Laura, but instead of you, like me and Igor, maybe just interviewing like another artist or just bringing another creative on to talk about their experiences. So I think, you know, there's some future things to build this into any kind of, you know, mental health organization of, you know, it could end up to be a big nonprofit or something like that. I think it could be cool to be on more singles and stuff, which I'm definitely down. Is turning off the edge into something that, you know, is something that's a regular thing where it's like, you know, once every 2 weeks, once a month, we have an interview with another artist and we talk about mental health and we put that out, and that's, you know, just continues like some kind of podcast or some kind of interview. And because, you know, we already have the whole website set up. So I think to just leave it at that after we're done with the song and all the episodes and the music video would be not a waste, but I just don't see any reason why we couldn't slowly keep that going in some sense. I've got definitely a bunch of stuff, and I'm sure Igor does too. But dude, I'm more, I'll tell you that. Yeah, man, I'm definitely more than down to talk about another single at some point in the future.
This like projects, music video, the docu-series, the song, like this has been like the biggest one I've definitely done. So
yeah,
like finishing that is already like an achievement. So, or whatever finishing that means.
Oh, dude, I mean, and I'll tell you, yeah, man, what we have done for this, man, and how many aspects I've been a part of it. Like, yeah, good job, team. The fact that the song is about what it's about, and the whole campaign that is going along with it, I think it's more than worthwhile. And all the hours and all the stuff that me and Igor and the whole team have done, it's great. And I think it's, like I said, it's already helping people, and I think it's going to help a lot more people going forward too.
Well, I think we need to wrap up soon, guys.
All right. Okay. No worries.
So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.